I came here to love and to be loved. I did not come here just to be tolerated.
Fingerprints lining this hallway of time as I wander through footsteps that used to be mine. Remnants, these remnants.
I came into the world knowing exactly who I am. A boy who dreamed he would someday grow into a man. So sure was this conviction that others saw it too. And so the boys and I stuck together on one side of the playground, while the girls created their own circle on the other side, conscious that I was the outsider to them, the other. One day, though, our gym teacher separated us into two camps. And as she took me away from the boys and put me with the girls, the boys started laughing. But I ran home crying that day because I knew something was terribly wrong. And this was just the first of many signs to come. I hung on to my truth as long as I could. But when I eventually hit puberty and developed into this voluptuous female body, even I had to concede that whatever dream I'd had of growing into a man was just that, this dream. And with that last concession, that little boy in me who was so sure of who he was tucked away into this corner and forgotten. After that, I started to live my life from the outside looking in, trying to become that woman I saw in the mirror. But because she didn't live inside me, I had to fashion her from all of these images of women I saw around me, women that I found to be beautiful and attractive. Others seemed to like what they saw, and I just hungrily lapped up their love and their approval. But the thing I realized about love is that when it's based on the outside, it never really fills you up on the inside. As I entered college, I found myself more and more attracted to women. Whatever opposite chemistry we'd had on the playground was now a romantic chemistry. And they seemed to feel it too. And when they compared me to their first boyfriend or wondered why they felt that same spark with me, I felt this sense of home. And those intimate moments with them became my refuge in this world where I was so often lost and on the outside. As far as men, I still had that same kinship that I had with them on the playground, but every time I tried to become friends with them, I would hit this invisible wall. Because while I was seeing myself as one of them, all they seemed to see was the outside that was unlike them. And every time they asked me something seemingly harmless, like advice from the female perspective, I just felt betrayed. I became intolerant of the fact that they couldn't see me. And all of this resentment just built and built, and I pushed them away. And so all I had left now were those few women who seemed to catch glimpses of that someone else that was still inside me. It was one of those women who years later brought me this article about men who'd been born the way I was and were now transformed. As I read one of them say that after going through all of these places he didn't fit, he was finally the man he dreamed he'd be. I felt something inside me just wake up, and I knew it was time. Time to bring that lost boy home.
And I don't know how I knew just where to place the pieces, stacking stone upon stone, yeah. But
5 years of 15 surgeries, one of which almost claimed my life. But I didn't hesitate, not even for a second, anywhere along the way. Because somewhere at some point, I'd made this promise to that little boy. The promise that I would never betray him again. And the moment I made that promise is the moment I tapped into this well that never runs dry. Years later, I was at a dinner party when I ran into a guy I knew from college. When he saw me, his face broke into this huge smile and he said, "You look amazing. You really do." And as I looked into his eyes and saw that joy, I felt this shame flow through my body. Because in that second, I realized all of the things I had done to him years ago when I was in his presence. The envy, the rage, the resentments, all that I had laid at his feet just because I was unfinished and he had something that I had wanted. As I interacted with him that night, I kept thinking, how could I have been so cruel to somebody this kind? I was incredulous all night long, for I felt nothing but warmth towards him that night, just clear and simple. And it was that night that I finally began to understand this. You know, we can march 1,000 marches and shout our slogans about tolerance, but if there's still some part of our being that is unfinished or unresolved, we will leak hatred at somebody else. It's the law of the Spirit. But if we go deep within ourselves and clear out all of those shadows until each one is replaced with light, we will then naturally become the kind of temple where every guest can put up their feet and be exactly who they are.